Hello to everyone. Welcome for today's study, where we have the pleasure to have with us Dr. Sérgio Thiesen, who will be facilitating the team near-death experiences. So we welcome everyone and also welcome at the same time Dr. Sérgio, who is here with us. Please feel welcome. And for those who don't know Dr. Sérgio, we will briefly present him. Dr. Sérgio is from Porto Alegre and lives in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. He studied medicine and physics at the Federal University of Rio de Janeiro. In the area of medicine, he is a specialist in cardiology and physics in magnetism, superconductivity, and solid-state physics. He is a doctor at the National Institute of Cardiology in Rio de Janeiro and professor of medicine. He is also the founder and president of the Reencontro Spiritist Society in Copacabana and Francisco de Assis Spiritist Group in Barra da Tijuca, Brazil. Sérgio, feel welcome to the Spiritist Psychological Society, and it's a pleasure in having you with us. And that way, we all ask for all of us be here in order to harmonize ourselves. Let's, if we wish, to close our eyes and just to, for a moment, to look within, to settle ourselves, to calm ourselves, and also to disconnect from the external reality, focusing within ourselves as immortal beings as we all are, as spirits in a long, loving journey in our evolution, learners of ourselves as we all are, blessed with this opportunity for us to reflect about such an important topic in our existences as immortal beings. With the blessings of the dear friends who loves us all, may we all feel connected through the feelings of love, through the feelings of brotherhood. And in that way, through this connection, we start our study today. So be it. And in that way, we welcome Sérgio, and at the same time, we hand it over to you to develop this team from now to 7 p.m. So it's up to you.
Hello. Thank you, Evanise. Welcome, everybody. I am very happy to stay here now to talk with you about some very interesting facts that are common nowadays in the hospitals around the world. I understand that you know something about this, but this is a very interesting aspect of life because, as you know, my friends, we are dealing now with very different understanding of science, medicine, and spirituality. Because, for example, if I enter today in the NIH in the United States, it's a very big site that we can look for papers of medicine with the correct scientific methodology. When I enter the PubMed of publications in medicine, this morning, when I enter and I put, for example, spirituality, I receive 24,000 of papers to study, or the relationship between spirituality and medicine. If I change the word and I put prayer in medicine, I have 75,000 of papers from the most of the countries around the world, from my colleagues, especially medical doctors and researchers in different clinics and hospitals in the world. If I put, for example, spirituality and health, two different words, but together, anyway, I have 16,000 of papers to read and to study. If I look for meditation in medicine, 8,000 papers from my colleagues. For example, empathy and medicine, I have 30,000 of collaborative studies to understand and to know about what they are doing now about this. And so in those days, my friends, we are doing some kind of upgrade in medicine in the direction of the linking between spirituality, religiosity, and medicine. For example, in cardiovascular medicine, in psychiatry, we have many and many different studies changing the model, the paradigm, in terms of the old one that stay with us in the medical science during many millenniums, from the beginning of the history of medicine, some kind of mechanical, materialistic model, to a very different, because from the middle of the 19th century, we are understanding in medicine the reality, the life, the patients, the illnesses in a different way. Obviously, we live fantastic evolutions in terms of medical science, in terms of the problems in the physical body, and the idea that we are in advancement to care in terms of the medical problems of all over the people, in terms of the development of science. For example, in some decades ago, in terms of acute myocardial infarction, we have some different approaches to help the patients with this acute syndrome in coronary vascular disease. And we are going to the future with many and many different progresses. And now we have one modern cardiology. But independently of the progress of the medicine in the old model, understanding all the problems in the physical body, we are being invited during the last century, especially the last 3 decades to some kind of shift to this different understanding, not only in terms of the causes of the diseases, not only in terms of physical diseases, biological, clinical diseases, but very frequently in terms of psychiatry disease. But in those days, we are caring our patients, utilizing spiritual aspects, independently of the religion of the patient, the family, or the doctor. Because we have some strong and big evidence that when we enter these new ideas and understanding of the medical problems, and when we respect the value of religiosity and spirituality to care and to share many aspects of life, the doctors with their patients, we have clear benefits when we consider these new important aspects of life, and obviously including the situations of patients and diseases. We have different expectations. We have different results in terms of benefits of the medical treatment, independently of the good and very nice advancements in terms of common medicine, biological, physical medicine. So we are understanding now that we need to valorize other aspects of human life to care the human patients. I would like to tell you that I am a physician and I am a spiritist because I am a son of my father and mother that studied Spiritism when I was very young. So when I was growing up, independently of the medical studies, I was learning about spirituality, especially in the first years in terms of Spiritism. But now, as a doctor, I am studying all this contribution of my colleagues from different countries in terms of spirituality, religiosity, and medicine. For example, one information to us. In the world, we have one statistic that emphasizes to us, doctors and nurses, that 82% of the adults in humanity, they appreciate religiosity, religion, and spirituality. In the majority of the cases of the people, and obviously including the patients around the world, the people like to talk about spirituality in terms of relationship between them and their doctors and nurses. So I would like to introduce this aspect first because my colleagues today in Brazil, or my colleagues around the world that do not talk about spirituality with their patients, they are distant from the best medicine. Do you understand? So this is very nice to be a testimony of this growing up, of this step up understanding of reality. So we are caring the patients, including compassion, forgiveness, gratitude, solidarity, prayer, meditation, and many different aspects that we link in terms of the global view of spirituality. I would like to introduce you the idea of near-death phenomena, near-death experiences. We had a colleague, a psychiatrist in the United States of America, that published a very different book in 1975, Life After Life. And this doctor, Raymond Moody Jr., they find a very interesting experience from many patients in that hospitals where he was involved in terms of medical care. And some kind of different situation, the patients from that hospitals that suffer when the cardiac arrest during one big surgery in that hospitals, with some statistic, some frequency, they, after being recovered by the team of doctors and anesthesiologists, they go to the infirmary, and then when they are completely fine, with the surgery completed too, after the recovery of the sudden death or cardiac arrest in the surgery environment, they talk to the doctor, Raymond Moody Jr., about one experience, something like that, one experience outside the body. During the trying of save their lives in the surgical center. And Raymond Moody Jr. Understand that many and many different patients suffer the same. And then they talk about the same kind of experiences without them had no contact before. Some kind of different experiences. So from 1975, the world, the medicine changed because of that fantastic experiences from old people, adult people, children and adolescents, independently of cultural and some religion that they were linked, or their families. And Dr. Moody Jr. Put these contents in the book that are the best that we have beginning this new study in medicine. I know because other books published from that occasion to now that the same experiences are being related and put in different books from patients in India, in Korea, South Korea, Spain, United States of America, Argentina, Australia, and different contexts of the medical approach, of medical experiences. So another researcher from Europe, Netherlands, Dr. Pien van Lommel, published in the magazine The Lancet, one of the best magazines in medicine from England, London, the experience to analyze the cases, not retrospective, but prospective, doing some kind of research from one scheme, one manner to deal with those things to the future. So all of the people doing surgeries in Netherlands during 5 years, they were analyzed, and they arrived to the statistic that 20% of the people that suffer one kind of cardiac arrest in the surgical center during those years in Netherlands, 18% they being alive, they talk about the same experiences from United States, from the book of Raymond Moody Jr. And what happens to those patients that are very different from what we would expect from them? So people with near-death experience are people who come close to death and later revive. And they sometimes report memories of unusual experiences they had while apparently unconscious, because they are in the practice, in the medical situations, comatose because of anesthesia, or because of the suffering of the brain because of the lack of oxygen during the cardiac arrest and during the trying to recover with the maneuvers of reanimation, of recovering the heart. And so a very different thing when the brain was completely without activity, because of EEG of all of the patients registering the brain activity without activity. It is in this time that the patients remember of many and many different experiences, but very similar between them. So these memory accounts are often said to be recollections of near-death experience. So Raymond Moody Jr. thought of it as a profound spiritual experiences. Curiously, the first researchers in this field in medicine, Raymond Moody Jr., it was so obvious to him the kind of those experiences from the patients that immediately he think in terms of spiritual experiences, and open a very big door to the different researches in spirituality, religiosity, and medicine. Something interesting during that experiences. Feelings of quiet and peace. The patients hearing unusual noises. In a family, hearing oneself pronounced dead, and they understand that how I can be in the surgical center if I am now in the ceiling of the physical environment in the surgical center. Independently of this, everybody suffer different aspects, like seeing a dark tunnel, being outside of one's body, very clearly too. Usually looking down on your body from above, meeting spiritual beings or entities, experience a bright light, often as a being of light, as a God or as a mentor or a Buddha, depending of the idea that each patient they had about spiritual leaders in the human culture in terms of religiosity and spirituality. A very interesting, they had one panoramic life review in a few seconds. They experiencing a realm in which all knowledge exists. This is very different in terms of common life. Experiencing cities of light. Experiencing a realm of bewildered spirits. The same supernatural rescue from other spirits in that environment. sending a border or limit in terms of reality in space and time. Coming back into one's bodies, often in reluctance, because they prefer to stay in that other spiritual environment. And frequently they find old family members that were died. No one near that experiences has more than 12 to 15 different common feelings between all of the people that suffered that experience. My colleagues in neurosciences, one half today, they understand that this is one important spiritual experience. The other half, they try till now, from that years, 40 years, more or less, trying to find some brain mechanisms to explain those so beautiful, different, nice experiences. But it's natural to understand, because in medical science, we need to analyze with all that we have in terms of knowledge and background involved to the science. Because if we accept the idea of that experiences reveal to us were a very different model to understand not only medicine but the life. We need to use all that we know, all that we need to research to change our minds about medicine, spirituality, and life to the rest of the human life on earth. And as we are spiritists, spiritualists, we know when we look for, when we analyze those results, we are happy, because without no one previous suggestions from science, now we are coming to this time to understand that one thing is the physical body. In the same, the physical brain. Because during all those years of development of medical science, the people understand that the thoughts, the mind, the mental activities comes from the neurons, from the cortex, from the brain, encephalus, because we always are understanding that only matter we have in the universe. No one in science introduce to science the idea of spirits, souls, or minds independently of the brain. So this is as how a proof to all the science from the medical science, neurophysiology, neuroanatomy, neurosciences, neurology, psychiatry, all of those experiences, they are provoking some kind of enlightenment in terms of the understanding of the life and changing the paradigm from the mechanicist, materialist, to the spiritual model to understand medicine and life. It is very interesting that all the people that suffer those experiences, they change their lives. They do not have more afraid of death because they understand the immortality. They change their lives in terms of perspective, the quality of relationship between them and their family members, their colleagues, the people around them in society, independently of age and culture. One very nice aspect, it is in terms of love, in terms of solidarity, fraternity, in terms of trying, all of them, with some kind of spontaneous invitation from life, from that experiences, to change their lives in terms of what they would like to see and to be in the future afterlife, in the afterlife. Those experiences, when today, in this morning, I was looking for some new reviews about near-death experiences. In that same site from NIH, PubMed, I put near-death experiences. I find near 1 million of papers. And when I find this number, I understand that all the world are using time, energy, investments to know about this and some kind of profound investigation, research, because from this experience, all over the world, we are trying to understand in a different way about human life. I would like to tell you that the children around the world, they have the same kind of experiences. And this is one indication that this is one reality. And all the people without religion, without mystical experiences, people that do not have no one creeds, no one religion aspect in their lives, they live the same, absolutely the same kind of experience. Now, we are trying to understand that those experiences help us to have one probe to very fine new researches in terms of mind-body relationship. And the idea that mind, it is some very special, obviously, but independently of the brain. Because before those studies, in medical science, in neurology, neurophysiology, neurosciences, the people believe that the soul, the mind, they are as one secretion, one consequence of the neurophysiology from neurons from the brain. And we are now in very nice comments and reflections that it's exactly the opposite. We are understanding now from science that the soul are pre-existent before the physical body. And because of near-death experiences, the idea, very important to the humanity, that our souls or our spirits and all that are important to them, for example, communicability, memories, all of them are independently of the physical body. When we are reincarnated, all of those things are together. So it's difficult to analyze some kind of results. But after those manifestations of near death, the people are changing to the idea of the importance of the soul, the spirit, independently of the brain, of the biology of the brain, and neurosciences and neuro properties of the brain and the other related structures. So, my friends, this is a very nice aspect. When I compare the number of papers of all of the aspects that suggest spirituality, religiosity in medicine, the number of researchers and papers published around the world, now we can see that near that 1 million of publications to the best form to study and understand those phenomena. Well, we have all different aspects to see. But I understand that if you know, we can ask for your questions now. So we have 15 minutes, and maybe interesting to talk about the near-death experiences with your participation from now. Maybe?
Okay, thank you, Sérgio. In your experience, I have a question. In your experience as a physician, as a doctor, and dealing with the near-death experiences, what predominates in most of the patients when they refer to these experiences? Is it more to do that they meet people that they knew, that they have more enlightened experiences, or do they come back and refer with experiences that perhaps they are scared?
Ivanisi, it's a very beautiful question, but from that experiences, we have some same different valorations of that different experience of them in the spiritual realm, in the other side of life.
Okay.
So in terms of personal changing, a very beautiful aspect, it is that because they have a different idea of reality, this is the invitation to inner change, inner enlightenment, and the change of what they will do in the rest of their lives. All of them, independently of age, from children to the old ones, they want to be different. They want to
improve themselves, isn't it?
Yeah, and the relationship to valorize the other people in family, in the work, in the street, in the society.
So could we say then, Serge, that the near-death phenomena or the near-death experiences is the proof of the immortality of the soul?
Yeah.
That even people who don't have a belief in, let's say, life after life, or about the immortality, or about the spirits, they still, in these moments, as we can say, of emancipation of the soul, they will see the dear ones which once were with them, and that is the proof that they are not dead, they are alive.
Yeah, they do not have, after that experiences, no doubt about themselves, their preferences, necessities, feelings, and the idea of the future and the immortality in the rest of their lives, they change their minds to a different quality, some kind of an upgrade.
Yeah.
Sometimes
they feel motivated to do the good that perhaps they didn't manage to do before. Now that they know that life continues, now that they know that the process continues,
exactly this.
They feel stimulated to promote themselves or to upgrade, as you said. And at the same time, when I was listening to you, Sergio, it seems also for those, even when we are temporarily in the materialistic, reductionist experiences, still we have these experiences, and they can be quite consoling because every human being, which is a unique spirit, have a unique a unique experience when the time comes, either through a near-death experience or the death in itself, which for us is the disincarnation process. So it can be quite hopeful, and I guess the experience with consolation that they find in themselves. Would I be right in saying that?
Yeah, Evanisi. I would like to remember that all of them, they find they friends and especially family members from the past that are dead, but they are alive. So they could talk with all of them, and some kind of talk without words, remembering the changing of thoughts, but a very easy and immediate relationship because of familiar linking and love between them. And curiously, Evanisi, in all of that experiences from each one, always one light being or one spirit with light, with love. And they feel this love from this different spirit.
It's a subjective communication, isn't it? The subjective communication.
Yeah, and it's very interesting because the sensations they were very beautiful and different. They do not want to come back to the physical body because they do not have all the details of what is happening. But the other life of the life, the other side of life, they were, it was so
beautiful sometimes.
Beautiful, not only beautiful, but the feelings that they have during that time in that environment, they do not want to come back. And after some seconds or minutes, we don't know, because this is another clock to measure the time in the other side. When they complete that experiences, the spirit of light, of some kind of angel or God, from the expressions of some of them, they talk, they tell to them, no, your time to come here to the death, it's not now. You need to come back and complete your journey when you are, when we are your physical body. And then as some kind of command, immediately they comes from that spiritual life, and the heart in the surgical procedure immediately are in life again.
Response to it, isn't it?
Responsive. And then the surgery is completed. And when they awake in the post-operative room or in the bed, in the common bed in the infirmary, they remember what they live in those times. This is very interesting, Vanessa, because it's some kind of mechanism spontaneously to the human mind to reflect, to think in a different way in terms of the more important aspects of life.
The objectives of existence, isn't it? Yes. Where our focus is, what we prioritize. Yes.
Yeah. Another aspect of it is that we find in all the cultures of the human mind, humankind, some evidence of the same kind of phenomena, but not in surgical procedures, because it is not only in the hospital, because for example, one electric discharge, one accident in terms of some impact in the brain, some woman during the delivery, and because some drugs with brain activity, psychoactivity. So in surgery, it is very clear to us because it is inside the hospital. But the same kind of experiences we can identify in different moments in common life of the people, but in the past too. But now, because of the development of science, medicine, and the phenomena inside the hospital, the world, the medical science is going to investigate and to take many results from this kind of research to all the humanity.
Yes, so somehow all humanity is and will be benefited from it because of these experiences happening in hospitals, in theaters where the operations happen. Therefore, the scientists or the doctors or the physicians, that calls their attention. Therefore, they go and investigate. Then they will go beyond the human science in direction to the divine science, isn't it? Because that is the aim of it, isn't it? Where we will understand that we are all transpersonal beings and not corporeal beings, but temporarily we are expressing ourselves through the body, but we can communicate beyond the body, isn't it? Okay.
One of the beautiful consequences is the idea, first, one, it is the spiritual reality, independently of the material world. And the second is the idea of immortality of the soul.
Yes, yes.
And this is to change everything, everyone, to a better future.
Yeah.
And the understanding of the value of moral advancements, because this is a natural invitation. This is a God invitation, I know. But to the people, independently of religion, it's a science result to benefit of the humanity. But
yes, I think we are moving towards that, as much as not all, but partially already science is entering in the field of goodness. So much so in psychiatry or in neuropsychology or even in medicine, quite often doctors these days are referring to our emotion dimension. And again, that is important, which is helping us to look in a broader perspective, which we all are moving forward and all will benefit more and more. So understand that our emotions, which are the result of how we are, spiritually speaking, as spiritual beings on the ethical moral level. When we say ethical moral, we are not referring to a religion as such. We are referring to the ethical principles which are universal values all over the place, or all over the different, let's say, worlds. These principles, all of us are having the germs within us, and as more as we are evolving, if you consider the law of evolution or Darwin, which I already was talking about, we naturally and spontaneously, gradually will upgrade ourselves and stimulate, let's say, the medical resources that we bring within. And also at the same time, be aware that we are constantly connecting psychically with other beings as well. That is quite freeing, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If an easy, another aspect is the not only the consequences to that patients or human beings as we are, is the consequences for the doctors, for the nurses, for the people that had some kind of link to directly stay with those patients, but too with the people that are studying now this phenomena by medical science. Because all of us, we need to change.
Yes.
Yeah, our minds in terms of understanding of reality.
This is what I meant, the universal principles, when we talk about ethics or values or moral values.
Yeah.
We are not talking about morals based what is transitory. We are based on moral ethical principles which are universal and are forever. And this is what we are really.
The doctors that only know about, they did not experience it themselves. But because of the experience of their patients, they reflect, they think about, and they understand their lives too, and they care of their patients in a different way, in terms of one upgrade, in terms of compassion, empathy, and spiritual movements to a different stage of medical work. Not only the doctors, but all the people that understand, that are looking for information about this. Because it is very clear to the people what this kind of secrets that are being
unfolded,
exactly to the people.
It was very lovely to talk and to listen to you, but unfortunately we are coming to the end of our time today. We give thanks to everyone who have been with us, and especially to you, Sérgio, who have been with us, presenting your knowledge, sharing your knowledge. We give our thank you for you, and hope to have other opportunities in the future that we can reflect about other topics together. And as we are coming to the end today, I would kindly invite everyone for us to close this meeting with our thanksgiving, giving thanks for these unique moments in our existences, for these special reflections about our existences, about our lives as immortal beings. When we go through the near-death experiences, the universe is inviting us to expand our consciousness, to realize that we are never alone, that we always have the dear ones with us. Life as immortal beings who temporarily are expressing ourselves through a physical body is just in a short period. As life continues, no one dies. We are all alive, and we are all on a journey of self-enlightenment, of improvement, of inner qualifications, which we choose gradually more and more to understand better the objectives of our existences, which is to learn to love ourselves, to love others, to be good for us according to the universal codes, and also to choose to be good with others, understanding that we are all brothers and sisters in humanity, and above all understanding that nothing and no one belongs to us. We came alone, we return alone, because internally we are free and loved by the greatest love of all, God, the creator of everything and everyone. And with our hearts full of gratitude, we give thanks for all the enlightened spirits who have been with us, inspiring us, facilitating our analysis and reflections through this study today, for everything that they did for us to be here, for all the good experiences that daily are presented to us. And in that way, with hope and joy to look forward, understanding death on a physical level is life forever. Everyone, our dear ones, are alive, and we all carry on learning, today, tomorrow, and always, wherever we are and with who we are. Much peace to all of us. So be it. I give thanks once more, and also at the same time inviting all of those who want to be with us later on today at 8 p.m. in our Portuguese study. Please feel welcome. It's 8 p.m. London time, which means 4 p.m. in Brazil. We are carrying on our program, which we have in April, and tonight the theme will be Obsessões Espirituais e a Terapia do Perdão. Sérgio, our gratitude. Thank you for your time, for sharing your knowledge with us, and we hope to have another opportunity once more later on. Wish you well. Much peace to all.
Thank you for you too. Thank you.